Hello, everyone. This is the first episode of It Gets to a Point podcast. Yours truly, Miss Jones, to you. I came up with the title because it does get to a point. Because everything that we do in life, it actually gets to a point. And when I say it gets to a point, to break down why I chose that name, it's because me being 41 years old and by far Libra, and experiencing the ups, the downs, the rounds and the rounds, the back and the forths, I felt like I am the ultimate care barrier of life, where what could go wrong does go wrong. But there's always some lesson and blessing that comes with every single thing that I've experienced throughout my journey within life. But it does get to a point where you'll be like, okay, now, universe, what is we doing here? What are we doing? And what are you doing? And what are you trying to teach me? So anything within life, it gets to a point. Whether it be at work, it gets to the point. Hello. Whether it be at home, it gets to a point. We all have that thing when you are of age and you have experienced some things in life and you've matured through some things in life and you've grown through some things through life. It gets to a point because we have to realize that a delay is not a denial. And that is the topic of our first episode of It Gets to a Point podcast. For me, a delay is not a denial, is not taking it personal when you don't get a job opportunity or a career expansion at that moment in time. It's not to say that it's not going to work out. It's just to say the timing is not right yet. And maybe, just maybe, collectively, the universe has something else better fit for you. Or maybe you just need to finish the task at hand before you're able to quantum leap into the next chapter of your life. Two things can be right at the same time. I always say this on my TikTok and Instagram. People can pray for you and people can pray on you. And you just have to cipher who is the who's and who is the haves. Me personally, I do have boundaries and I have a very small circle of people within my life, and we are hardworking individuals that are parents, that are career driven, that create solid foundations, not only for ourselves, but for our families and our communities. And I want to continue to keep those core values no matter where I go within this life. I felt it was my time because it gets to a point. If I feel that because I am a multidimensional individual where I collectively have different talents, different gifts, jack of all trade, master to none, have worked different places, have shared different spaces, different certifications, I feel like intellectually, hypothetically, it is just time. And guess what? It gets to a point where if I'm not able to do what I want, when it comes to my career, when it comes to being a working girl, then I will utilize my creative space to be a part of that hunger, that need to want more, and to expanding my horizons when it comes to my career. So two things can be right at the same time. A delay is not a denial. When you're a creative person, right, regardless of your title, entitlement, privilege, or where you are at that point, just know what is for you. No one can take it away from you. I've had to learn everything that I will forever say on each and every episode of It Gets to a Point podcast, because I've experienced the thick of life and I'm able to have those conversations full of life. I don't believe in soulless conversations. I don't believe in gray areas because everyone has something to say. It's just that, is that person safe with you to discuss what it is that is truly on their heart? People have to be able to trust you in order to share certain memoirs or certain memories or certain emotions. And what I'm learning throughout my journey of life at 41 years old is that I'm just not in a place to explain, overly explain, or really just give too much information to people that I do not trust. Absolutely. I prefer to completely open up and show up as my authentic self around the people that I never have to question to cross me. Now, a lot of times people say, show up as your best self and your most authentic self at work. If you are a bold, confident, very clear, come from a very cultured background, come from very strong, intelligent individuals like myself, that dress to the gods, baby, then you will always be a threat. So is that kind of biased to say show up in your career or your work as your best self so people can be intimidated and they really need to be inspired? What are we doing here? I feel like this is a saying that I will always say, and something that I have seen within myself and with others. If you can't be used, you're useless. People will drain the life out of you and leave you for dead if you allow them, or they really not tapped in with you like that for real. And that is something that I'm saying from the heart and from experience. On this podcast, it gets to a point, we're not going to tell you any lies. We're coming raw and uncut, and we're giving you the real, because a lot of times things are sugar coated, right? A lot of times the people we idolize and look up to can't necessarily give us thorough information because they're contracted on contracts. So therefore, if they speak up about certain things, then they put themselves at risk. So therefore, because I'm not contracted to anything and I'm a free-spirited individual, I'm going to say what they've been wanting to say. Fuck it. Okay? We, as a collective, as individuals, as mothers, as daughters, as teachers, as muse, as creatives, a delay is not a denial. I always want to tell each and every individual, no matter who you are, near and far, a delay is not a denial. And just because you didn't get that role, just because you didn't get that career opportunity, just because no one has seen you yet, does not mean you will not be seen. And I want to be very clear in my intent and intention on that. A lot of times, regardless of if it is a creative, whether it be big or small, or a day-to-day 9-to-5er, I'm a little bit of everything. We don't necessarily have that safe space or that person that is a safety blanket for us to be able to confide into. A lot of us may have 1 to 2 people, but because we are so selfless deep down, regardless of our art, regardless of our creativity, and regardless of our work, we don't necessarily want to wear down the little bitsy bit of people that we have in our circle, which is highly small, significantly small. So we kind of carry things on our own. And I just think that's more so a trauma response for me. I don't know about anybody else, to each his own, but I feel like it just gets to a point that I would love to have a safe space of people that I wouldn't have to be so private, and that I'm able to be intellectually that I am able to share my thoughts, my concerns, and know my safekeepings is with you without a running mouth and a listening ear going to tell everything that I have just expressed to the next person. Or you're not an opportunist, or you're not a narcissistic individual, or you're just not trying it. Because some people just like to try it, and it gets to a point. Play with your mammy. Do not play with me, because I don't have the time, but me, Valerie Marie, will make the time to let you know, pick the bear every single time. Because I'm not one of those women that is dumbfounded, or an individual that you can walk all over and you can control a narrative to make me feel less than. I'm coming in hot, and I'm coming with facts. And that is just life as a whole, because I know all the hard work that I have done and everything that I've put out, and I know my energy, and the sun is always going to shine wherever I go, because my intent is always authentic and genuine. And I never come with any motives. A lot of people come with motives. A lot of people come with opportunist agendas. I come with nothing but to meet you where you are. And then when you expose to me that you are that thing, meaning a narcissistic individual, someone carrying a negative motive, someone carrying projection, then I separate myself, because it gets to a point. I don't have the time, and the weapon may form, but it will not prosper. You're not going to make me feel that I am not enough when I was told as a child I was enough. You're not going to be in my way of my blessings and what is intended and intentional for Valerie. What is for me, no man, woman, or child can take it. And I stand on business when it comes to myself. And I will always stand on business when it comes to myself. Because the love that I have in my heart, all the things that I do, how intentional I am about myself, about my family, about all that I pour my energy into sacredly, I'm highly expensive spiritually. And I'm by far, my discernment is in tuned. Check the temperature and read the room every single time. A lot of people want what they cannot have, and that's just the name of the game. But I never want something that's going to cost me way too much. Something that is corroded, corrupted, and just low vibrational. So I'm not saying that I want to judge where a person is, but I'm just saying the energy that I am in collectively, because I've paid my dues, baby, to this world and to this life. I just don't want to feel like I have to overcompensate myself. That if you can't see who I am now, then how can you see who I am later when I am in my career and thriving and loving and just really doing what I'm passionate about? Just to give you a few insights about me, I am a financial advisor through the day, and I am a creative, born given. I write music. I love poetry. All the things creative. I like to house design. I went to school for hair. My father did hair. His mother did hair. The list goes on. So I'm very fashionable, but I am always been, even though it is a trend now, what we got here is the quarter zips. Like, I've always been more of a classy, chic, sexy type of chick. Like, I never gave too much, and I've never had to try too hard. It's not on me, it's in me. Fashion is more so like art to me. It is a depiction of my mood. I am a mood fashionista. Depending on how I wake up, I wear different looks, from ball caps to fur hats to sunglasses, glasses, which are, I have to wear them, but I don't wear them all the time like I'm supposed to. But I like all the things, the coats, the layering. I just see beauty in everything. I could look outside in the damn sky and see something beautiful about it. Like, I'm just a real Libra. Like, I just am an aesthetically pleasing, neat person that just enjoy the simple things in life and some finer things in life as well. Because guess what? Hello, we definitely need our balance. But neither here nor there. Nevertheless, I am just a human being trying to find my way in this world. I don't think I'm better than anyone. I don't think I have more than anybody. I am successful and have accomplished a lot. Went to school for business, went to school for hair, worked in mental health, and I found that to end up being my baby as I've educated myself in that field and spent 6 years there as a mental health coordinator and a behavior analyst. I am in a place now where all of the things that I have done, all of the jobs and every stepping stone within my career, I am pleased and happy to be a multi-dimensional individual, spiritually being able to thrive and grow and be in different spaces and places, and unapologetically about it, that my name still rings a bell, even though I do not walk in those spaces anymore. And I think it's just my energy. For a long time, I've had to do a lot of inner work to really find who I am and my intent and my place in this life at my core. And I'm just like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just showing up as my best self. I'm not going to hide who Valerie Marie Jones is. My grandfather gave me my name, and it means brave, strong star of the sea. And we all know the surface level of the sea is highly beautiful and angelic. But the deeper you go, it can consume you. So what I'm learning about myself as a Libra, what I'm learning about myself with my God-given name, I'm learning that to take time. And that it does get to a point that sometimes it gets to a point where you need to relax. It gets to a point when you need to breathe. It gets to a point where you need to educate yourself a little more on certain things. It gets to a point where sometimes you be the problem. It gets to a point where you can't have all these different energies around you because it is not the world that is corrupt. but is it indeed the people that corrupts the world? So this is where the meat and the potatoes of It Gets to a Point podcast come from, because it's the experiences, the memories, everything that I have endured within my life that I would love to break down in think pieces and share with you guys, because it's somebody that may need it. And this first episode, being a delay is not a denial. It's just everything is from a personal experience that I can tap into, or something that someone has shared with me that in real time. And it feels good to be able to have at least a good 10 episodes in me to discuss different topics and to be able to be of encouragement to somebody in this world that a delay is not a denial. And if you sit back and you think historically throughout history, all of the different people in entertainment, all of the different people in politics, all of the different people that became lawyers, doctors, retail managers, cooks, cleaners, when they started off their businesses, I'm pretty sure, or if they started off in the business or industry, I'm pretty sure it was not easy. It wasn't easy for me, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't easy for them. And it definitely gets to a point. And you have to just really sit here and say, after 5 doors shut on you, is the access not being granted? Is it a delay or is it a denial? And I have grown as I've gotten older and not taken denial so personally, and copes with it and process it to be a delay is not a denial. That when it is my time, it is my time. And sometimes doors that do not become open for you right then and there, maybe God in the universe is protecting you from something, because I want to be where my worth is valued. I want to be where I can be myself. I want to be where I can be creative, because I do have a lot of gifts, but I am stingy. And when I say I'm stingy, I'm not going to pour too much out in the world, because for one, people have a habit of mirroring and morphing things that was never there, stealing things. And it's just cold. Like, that would be nothing that I could do, because I do carry myself with integrity and character. But I know that there's more watchers online on all platforms than there are people that is willing to openly, authentically say something about it. So it just gets to a point. I pour out what I feel comfortable to pour out, but anything that I feel I need to keep with me, I'm going to keep it with me, because that's my prerogative, and that's my space, and that's my boundary. And a delay is just not a denial. So I just want all of everybody, no matter who you are, near and far, just know that a delay is not a denial. And when it is your time and when it is your calling, no one can take what is intentional and what is intended to happen for you within your life. Peace be still and understand that what is for you is for you. And a delay will never be a denial, that you can come as you are, as authentic and as original. When it is time for someone to see you, when it is time for someone to pour into you, when it's time for that career to peak, it will. We try to rush time, but we cannot rush time, because time is timeless, just like the seas that cannot be measured. So we have to understand, it gets to a point that if we're going to say we're leading with faith, we have to lead with that. And we have to understand that everything is not for us, and everything is not going to be on our timing. So I just want to be that woman, that lady, that intellectual, that poetically dedicated individual that just really love being able to be a part of something within this culture that helps us feel confident in where we are in the now, and appreciative, and displaying levels of gratitude regardless of how imperfect we are. When it's time, when it happened, all the chips will lay how they're supposed to, and we would never have to question the plan of life for us individually. And this is It Gets to a Point podcast. And I just want to say to you, Thank you guys for taking the time to just sit with me. This is my first episode. A delay is not a denial, and the episodes may get a little longer over time, but this is more so an introduction. I am Miss Jones to you, Valerie Marie, and I just wanted to see how this is going to go, and we're just going to keep doing it. We're going to just keep trusting the process and going with the flow, and as time progresses, we will progress. The podcast will progress. Because guess what? A delay is not a denial. And we don't have to come 100%. We don't have to come with all of the things. We just have to show up as ourselves. And everything else will fall in place. I have zero makeup on, you guys. My hair's ruffled. I have glasses on. I've had a very long work week. But just I said, you know what? I'm going to start. Because if I start, at least it's a start. Because I procrastinate a lot. I am such a Libra, honey. I'm going to procrastinate so much. And then I'm going to be like, okay, cool, let's do it. Because I know when it's time, it's time. And I'm thankful to be able to be in a safe space, in a protective space, and able to discuss the things that is laid on my heart, and just stories and experiences with myself and others to be able to help someone that may be struggling. And I do want to say this with a delay that is not a denial. With the It Gets to a Point podcast, a lot of people haven't always suffered from anxiety or mental health, but when you start to unlock new levels, you unlock new devils, unfortunately. And we need to know how to not allow the projections of life and what other people are trying to do to hinder us from us peaking and rising to the top. We have to learn our seasons. We have to learn when it's a time and a season to rest, and when it's a time and a season to go. And when it's a time and season to balance out, that sometimes you may have to, unfortunately, break that relationship. Whether it is a friendship, whether it is a relationship, whether it is a business partnership. Some things are temporary and some things are permanent. But us as individuals, we would know that by the actions of the receiver. Meaning the people that come into your life collectively that debit and drain you are not people that as you get older will assist and be a good prospect for your journey throughout life. They will drain you to where you can't even do anything. We need more people that are accrediting, that credits our life, that pours into us, and we can pour into them. We need more inspiring individuals. Thus, we all make mistakes, do childish things, get in our own way. Sometimes we the problem. It's a level of authenticness and genuineness that one has when you can admit every single thing about you before the world wants to stampede and start creating judgments. So I'm never too bold and I'm never too proud to say, yeah, I fucks up sometime. But my good will always outweigh my bad because I never come into anything with the intent of a motive to use, abuse, or make a person feel away. However, if you come at me and you try to mishandle me, depending on the scenery, depending on the situation, that is my God-given right to protect myself and to advocate for myself when I am feeling violated. And as a woman who has grown through life, been the flow through life, and been in the flow through life, I'm going to always ensure me. If you are a mother, if you are a worker, if you're doing anything counterproductive or productive to advance who you are, you should always be looking for ways to constitute necessary, consistent change to progress in all areas within life. Because there's going to always be that one person that is going to try to challenge your intelligence. There's going to always be that one person that's going to try to make you feel small, when that was never the intention for you to feel small. There is people, again, that will prey on you, and there are people that will pray for you, and you just have to identify which is which. Now, this is where it gets to a point that if I told you I was the first time, I said what I said, And if you didn't believe it, then that's just on you. Pick the bear. But I am not in the business of trying to accommodate a bunch of lost souls in this world that need all of the titles, that need all of the things, that need all these surface level materialistic fillers to feel good about their low self-esteem. I am past that. Okay, I've graduated, you know, and that's not to put anybody down in the mental space or capacity at which they are in. It's to say that I am past that test. And you can't continue to try to force energy and try to consume me and take me back to a place at which I have outgrown. I don't live there metaphorically anymore. Okay, the Valerie that you knew 2 weeks ago, she's no longer here. The Valerie that you knew 2 years ago, she is not here. The Valerie that you knew 20 years ago. I will hope that we are all elevating for the better grain of the good. Not to say we won't make mistakes, not to say we won't do things that are appeasing to the eye of the beholder, but we are taking initiative to work on what we can and what we do have control over. And one thing we do not have control over is people. It does not matter if you are married. It does not matter if you're in a situationship. It does not matter if you have a friendship. It does not matter if you have a boo thing or whatever you call them nowadays. You can only control your reactions. If that person is unavailable and ain't paying you no mind, let them. In the great words of Mel Robbins, if that person is acting funny, let them. I have learned, I'm telling you, from 41 years, I feel like I've been in this world a million times to do a million things wrong on top of doing a million things right. And just letting people believe what they want. People will create the most wicked, insane narratives about you, and all you can do is laugh. Because when you know in your heart you ain't do that, why fight fire with invisible fire? It makes no sense. And I know we all are passionate and sensitive about everything that we create and do in this world, and we have always have people watching us. It does not matter if you're a superstar, a star, or someone that is just finding their creative wave. Don't let people get you down. I spent the majority of my life when I was younger being a yes girl, and now I can't be fucked with. Like, if I don't want to do something, no one can convince me to do a thing if it's not a thing that I feel like doing. After the long, hard working girl week, I done had, if I just don't have the energy to hang out, if I just don't have the energy to be on the phone, and I would rather shower, relax, get me something to eat, and watch a good show, that's my prerogative. We have to learn boundaries with people. And we also have to learn boundaries with ourselves to stop forcing energy, because energy was never intended or intentional to be consumed and possessive and controlling. And so I don't want to be in controlled spaces to where I have to have friends that I have to go down a whole paragraph as to why I don't want to be bothered. You're not a friend to me if you can't respect that I'm tired and leave it at that. I don't want to have to work in places and spaces where it's just completely corrupt, conniving, manipulative, and it's all game. There has to be some compassionate people that actually believe versus a lot of people that are minions and just going along with the flow and don't even realize that it's more than just going along with the flow. Be the flow. Because a lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are afraid of their managers and their bosses. And if they really know, every boss has a boss. This is a corporation. This is a company. If you can't get answers from one, you should be bold and confident enough, professionally, respectfully, to protect and to ensure that you are being guided and trained to the best of your ability 100%. People get comfortable sitting in the same seats for so long that they feel they are bigger than the program, but nobody is bigger than the program. So we need to take heed to that. So I'm lucky to be able to surpass all of the things that I've experienced surface level, materialistically, spiritually, mentally, and physically. And I am so content with who I am at 41 years old. This energy that I have, I don't even think I had it at 21, okay, or 31. So it feels good to be in a safe space mentally, physically, and spiritually, and working financially to thrive so that I'm able to pour into other areas of my life and my communities more. Everything with life is all trial and error. I wouldn't take anything personal. I would just keep going and glowing. Find your niche, find what it is that you like to do, and just go balls, walls, ball till you fall. Be creative, be yourself, be authentic. Everyone has a gift, everyone has a talent. You just have to dig deep to soar and master it. I read a lot of documents and I watch a lot of intellectual podcasts to my liking, and I never am afraid to show up for anybody, and there's not enough money in the world to change who I am and what I'm dedicated to, pouring outreach to people as a whole. So that is just what this podcast is about. It gets to a point where you want more for yourself. It gets to a point where you want to be more than where you are in life. It gets to a point where you won't even allow yourself to get in your own way. It gets to a point where you're no longer taking just settle, just be stagnant. If you work hard enough for something, you'll eventually get it. It's not to say you'll get it tomorrow. It's not to say you'll get it in 2 months. But when it is time, you will get it. And that's all that matters. So a delay is not a denial. As much as we have always been taught to be a certain way, conduct ourselves, go to school, do this and do that, a good percentage of the time, most of us that have kind of sort of followed the rules, clean cut for the most part, we're starting to realize that the game was never intended, or so it seems to be, fair. Because if it was fair, why am I not getting the things that I was told and groomed that I would get from the parental advisors as I was growing as a child? I feel like trial and error, breakups, makeups, confusion, corruption, inabilities, abilities, ups and downs, lessons, heartbreaks, finding who you are a million times, it what helps you grow. For me, that is just my think piece on it. And I feel like the good and the bad has helped me elevate and know what it is that I want as I grow through this life and mature and continue to figure out what is my next step, what is the next thing I want to do, and what I can do to not only be a service to myself, but to a service to others, and to continue to pour into the young women and all the women around the world and people in general, and let them know, yes, we all feel a way sometimes, and it gets to a point. So that is just what it is. A delay is not a denial. Keep going, keep growing, and keep pushing yourself. From me to you, let me tell you, as we get deeper in these episodes, I have been through some things, honey. And if I can make it, you can make it. It doesn't matter if you got to take baby steps. It doesn't matter if you have to run, walk, scream, shout. Whatever you do, do not give up on you. Stay steadfast. Okay? So this is the first episode of the It Gets to a Point podcast with your girl, Miss Jones to you, Valerie Marie. And I hope that you all find what your thing is that makes you happy and continue to pour and show up as your best self, knowing you are growing and glowing to become the best version of yourself. But it is going to get to a point, because at that point, at that breaking point is when you have elevated and you have unlocked and quantum leaped into a new level to evolve into a better infrastructure of yourself. So it gets to a point, and it will continue to get to a point. But we want to hit the focal point of the truth that will set us all free, and that the delay is not a denial. The first episode of It Gets to a Point. This is Miss Jones to you. I hope you all have a very blessed day and continue to glow up and grow through it, thrive and flourish. Y'all take care. Have a blessed day.